You walk into the room, and at first it feels normal. People are sitting, standing, talking quietly. Nothing loud, nothing strange. But there is a feeling that stays under the surface, a slow tension. Like something is about to happen, but no one knows what. The air feels heavy, even though nothing is wrong yet. Smiles appear and disappear. Laughter sounds real, but it fades quickly. Conversations stop and start again. You feel like everyone is waiting for something they cannot maim. Then you notice one person, not loud, not dramatic, just watching. They do not speak much, they do not move much, but when they do, people react. Someone lowers their voice, someone changes where they stand, someone laughs a little too hard. You cannot explain why, but their presence shifts the room. It is not fear, it is not respect, it feels closer to tension, like people are trying not to step on something sharp. This person enjoys the space they take. You can feel it. They lean in when someone looks unsure. They step closer when someone looks uncomfortable. Not fast, not obvious, slow, quiet, like they are testing how much pressure they can apply. When someone pulls back, they smile. Not a big smile, just a small one, a private one, like they learned something useful. You start to notice patterns. They stand too close. They interrupt at the wrong moment. They ask questions that make people pause, not because the question is deep, but because it feels personal. They watch the pause. They watch the face. They watch the body. They enjoy the small freeze, the tiny loss of control. No one calls it out. No one says anything. It is too small, too quiet. But people change around them. Someone crosses their arms. Someone looks at the floor. Someone steps back half a step. The room slowly reshapes itself to protect from something no one names. You realize something important. This person is not here to connect. They are here to feel something. And what they feel comes from others, from making someone nervous, from holding the room, from knowing they can push and nothing will happen back. They never raise their voice. They never threaten. They do not need to. Power is already working for them. They enjoy watching people adjust. They enjoy being the reason someone hesitates. It is quiet, clean, almost polite. The room feels like a game board now, not fun, just controlled. Everyone else is trying to stay comfortable. This person is trying to see how far they can go. And the strange part is, it feels good to them. You can sense it, not in their words, in their body, in how relaxed they look when others feel tense, in how calm they stay when someone else loses balance. You do not know why they like it, not yet, but you know they do, and the room knows it too, even if no one says it out loud. This is where Jung would step in quietly. He would not look at what the person shows, he would look at what they hide, the shadow, the part of the self pushed away, the part that wants things we are taught not to want, control, superiority, pleasure from another person's weakness. Most people feel shame about these thoughts. They bury them. They pretend they do not exist. But the shadow does not disappear. It waits. And when it finds a safe place, it comes out. For this person, the room is that safe place. They have learned how to release their shadow without being caught. They do not hit. They do not shout. They do not break rules. They push in small ways, social ways, emotional ways, ways that cannot be proven. This lets them enjoy their darker side without punishment. Jung would say this is the shadow wearing a clean mask. You see it in their timing. They choose moments when someone is already unsure, already tired, already small. They add pressure, just a little, a comment, a look, a step closer. They watch the reaction. The shadow feels alive here. It feels fed. Most people feel bad when they hurt someone, even by accident. They apologize, they pull back. But this person does not. They lean in. They enjoy the discomfort. Not because they hate the person, but because it makes them feel strong, awake, real. Jung would say this is unowned power, a hunger that was never spoken. Maybe they felt weak once. Maybe they were ignored. Maybe they learned early that control feels safer than closeness. So they buried their need to dominate. They told themselves they were normal, kind, calm. But the need did not die. It just waited. Now it comes out in rooms like this, quiet places, social spaces, where pain has no name. They can hurt without being seen as cruel. They can enjoy it without being judged. That is why it feels good, not because of the other person, but because their shadow finally gets to breathe. Jung would not call this evil. He would call it unconscious, a person who does not see their own dark hunger, or sees it and lets it grow. They have made peace with their shadow, but in a dangerous way. They let it drive. You feel it when you are near them, a pressure, a strange alertness, like you are being tested, like they are waiting for you to slip, to show fear, to show weakness. And when you do, something in them wakes up. That is the shadow enjoying itself, not loudly, not proudly, quietly, like a secret, like a reward no one else can see. Jung would watch and say nothing. He would only notice how the shadow moves when it feels safe, how it smiles when no one is looking. This is where Nietzsche would stop listening to excuses and start watching desire. He would not care about what the person claims to believe. Words are easy. Anyone can say they are fair. Anyone can say they are honest. Nietzsche would watch what gives them energy, what makes them lean forward, what makes them feel alive. For this person, it is not connection, it is not laughter, it is not being understood. It is power. But not loud power, not shouting, not winning fights. It is the quiet kind, the kind you feel when someone else shrinks, when someone hesitates, when someone looks at the floor because of you. That moment feeds them. Nietzsche would say this is will, the will to dominate, to rise above, to feel strong by making someone else feel small. Not because they are angry, but because it feels good, because it feels natural to them, like stretching a muscle that has been tight for a long time. You see it in how they choose their targets, not the strong ones, not the confident ones. They go for the unsure, the polite, the ones who do not push back. They do not need to win loudly, they just need a reaction, a shift, a break. Nietzsche would not judge this, he would observe it. He would say, this person has stopped pretending they are equal. They feel above, they feel separate. They enjoy it. That enjoyment is the truth. Everything else is just a story. When they see discomfort, they do not feel bad, they feel satisfied, like something inside them clicks into place. They stay calm, relaxed, even peaceful, while someone else is struggling. Nietzsche would say this is honesty without words. Their body tells the truth. They enjoy power. They enjoy control. They enjoy watching someone else lose balance. That is their reward. They do not need to explain it. They do not need to justify it. They feel no guilt. Guilt is for people who still believe they should be equal. This person has moved past that idea. They do not say it out loud, but they live it. In this world, weakness is not something to protect. It is something to use. Not violently, quietly, cleanly. They see it as nature. The strong rise, the weak bend. That is how they see the room. Nietzsche would notice how free they feel when they hold power. No fear, no doubt, no need for approval, just presence, just control, just the feeling of standing above without effort. This is why it feels good, not because they hate others, but because power feels like air to them, like breathing, like being awake. When they have it, they feel real. Nietzsche would say this is a person who has chosen strength over connection, control over closeness, and they do not regret it. They only feel alive when someone else feels small. This is where Machiavelli would stop caring about feelings and look only at results. He would not ask why the person enjoys power. He would ask what they gain from it. Power is never just a feeling. It always leaves marks. Someone changes, someone loses ground, someone becomes quieter, someone starts to obey without being told. In this room, the sadist never has to demand anything. They do not order people around, they do not threaten, but things move in their favor. Conversations slow when they enter. People look to them before deciding. Someone laughs too fast. Someone apologizes when they did nothing wrong. These are not accidents, these are effects. Machiavelli would see this clearly. The person has trained the room, not on purpose, not openly, but through repetition. Every time someone feels small around them, the pattern grows stronger. The room learns, the group learns, without words. This is real power, not force, influence, the ability to bend others without touching them. The sadist enjoys the feeling, but Machiavelli would care about the structure behind it. They have built a position where they always stand higher. They never look desperate, they never chase. Others come to them for approval, for safety, for direction. They share nothing about themselves. That is important. Information is power. They collect it. They never give it away. They listen. They store. They remember weaknesses. Who fears conflict? Who hates silence? Who needs praise? These details become tools. Machiavelli would say this is smart. The less you reveal, the less people can use against you. The more others reveal, the easier they are to control. The sadist does this naturally. They make people talk. They make people confess without noticing. A small push, a quiet pause. People fill the space. Over time, the room changes shape. Certain people stop speaking. Certain people sit closer to the sadist. They want protection. They think closeness means safety, but it only means control. This is where the pleasure becomes strategic. It is not just about enjoying discomfort. It is about building a system where discomfort always benefits them. They create tension, then they offer calm. People become grateful, loyal, dependent. Machiavelli would see a ruler in training, not a king, not a boss, a quiet center, the one everything moves around. The sadist does not look powerful. That is the trick. They look calm, reasonable, normal. That makes them invisible. When conflict appears, they do not stop it, they guide it. A small comment here, a silence there. They let others fight. They watch, they learn. They choose sides later. This is how power feels good for them, not just in the moment, but long term. They are building a world where they always win without effort. Machiavelli would not call this cruel. He would call it effective. Power is not about kindness, it is about position, and this person has found theirs. They are not loud, they are not obvious, they are already in control. Until the next observation.